The Renaissance dawned, not just on art and science, but on the relentless pursuit of beauty. To be fair of face was to possess power, to command attention, to secure a place in a world ruled by appearances. But the price of such beauty was often paid in ill health and premature aging. Apothecaries thrived, their shelves laden with concoctions promising to deliver the coveted pale skin. Among the herbs and spices, vials of ceruse, a white pigment derived from lead, held a prominent if perilous position. Isabella de' Medici, a woman of influence and taste, understood the necessity of maintaining a flawless visage. Each morning she diligently applied ceruse, knowing that its slow poison was a sacrifice demanded by her station. Physicians, often complicit in the pursuit of pallor, recommended practices like bloodletting and consuming acidic substances to lighten the skin. These remedies, though barbaric by modern standards, were considered essential for maintaining beauty. Lucrezia Borgia, famed for her beauty, took great pains to protect her fair skin. Parasols were indispensable, and avoiding the sun became a daily ritual, a constant battle against nature's bronzing touch. The desire for a slender figure fueled the demand for tightly laced corsets. These garments, often reinforced with whalebone or metal, compressed the torso to an unnatural degree, causing discomfort and restricted breathing. Even Caterina Sforza, a woman known more for her strength and political acumen than her adherence to beauty standards, recognized the subtle power of appearance, carefully managing her image to project authority. The long-term effects of ceruse poisoning were devastating. Tooth decay, hair loss, and neurological damage were common consequences, silently eroding the health of those who sought only beauty. Within the gilded cages of courtly life, beauty rituals were shared and refined, becoming an intricate dance of social competition and self-preservation. Fashion dictated not only clothing but also facial features. High foreheads were particularly prized, leading women to pluck their hairlines back, enduring discomfort for the sake of the ideal. The desperation for beauty, combined with the cutthroat politics of the era, sometimes led to even darker paths. Poisons like aqua tofana, rumored to subtly enhance complexion while eliminating rivals, became whispered secrets in the corridors of power. So within the heart of the Italian Renaissance, a dangerous game was played. The pursuit of beauty, fueled by vanity and social pressures, came at a steep price, a price often paid in health, happiness, and even life itself. And the painted mask concealed not only imperfections, but also the slow, insidious poison that was slowly consuming them all. The allure of Renaissance beauty often concealed a deadly truth. Cosmetics, prized for their ability to transform, were frequently concoctions of toxic substances, unknowingly poisoning those who sought perfection. Lead in the form of ceruse was the cornerstone of a fair complexion. Ground into a fine powder, it was applied liberally to the face, neck, and chest, creating the desired pallor that signified nobility and wealth. Isabella de' Medici, like many noble women, embraced ceruse without understanding the grave consequences. The lead, while providing a flawless canvas, slowly seeped into her system, wreaking havoc from within. The initial effect was captivating, a porcelain complexion envied by all. However, the long-term effects were devastating. Lead corroded the skin, leading to discoloration, painful cracking, and irreversible scarring. The very beauty it promised to enhance, it ultimately destroyed. For rouge, mercury sulfide, also known as cinnabar, provided the desired rosy tint. Its vibrant red hue was seen as a sign of vitality and health, a stark contrast to the pallid faces achieved with lead. Lucrezia Borgia, admired for her captivating beauty, undoubtedly employed cinnabar to enhance her complexion. The fleeting flush it provided, however, masked the insidious poison it delivered. Mercury, a neurotoxin, gradually undermined the nervous system. Hair loss, tremors, and debilitating neurological disorders were common afflictions among those who regularly used mercury-based cosmetics. Arsenic, though primarily known as a poison, found its way into cosmetics as well. Some believed that small doses could brighten the skin and improve the complexion, a perilous gamble with deadly consequences. Even Caterina Sforza, known for her strength and pragmatism, may have considered the use of arsenic-laced cosmetics, a testament to the pervasive pressure to conform to the era's beauty standards. Physicians, often baffled by the symptoms, struggled to diagnose the underlying cause. They treated the symptoms skin ailments, hair loss, neurological problems, without realizing the common denominator, cosmetic poisoning. The production of these cosmetics was largely unregulated. Apothecaries and artisans experimented with various ingredients, often with little understanding of their toxicity. The pursuit of beauty trumped concerns for safety. The deadly palette of Renaissance cosmetics served as a stark reminder. Vanity, pursued without caution, carried a heavy price, often paid with health, and ultimately with life itself. The 15th and 16th centuries witnessed the rise of the corset, a garment designed to sculpt the female form into an idealized shape. More than mere clothing, it became a symbol of status and desirability across the Italian city-states. For women of the nobility, like Isabella de' Medici, a small waist was paramount. Corsets, painstakingly crafted from layers of linen stiffened with whalebone or metal, were essential to achieving the fashionable silhouette. The construction of corsets varied. Simpler versions made of layered linen offered moderate shaping for everyday wear. For courtly appearances and special occasions, elaborate corsets stiffened with whalebone, metal, or even hardened leather were employed. The social pressure to conform to this constricted ideal was immense. Lucrezia Borgia, renowned for her beauty, undoubtedly endured the discomfort of tight lacing to maintain her status and allure. Fainting spells became commonplace among women who tightly laced their corsets. The restricted airflow and internal pressure often led to moments of dizziness and collapse, especially in crowded or warm environments. Not all women succumbed to the dictates of fashion. Caterina Sforza, a woman of strength and action, prioritized practicality over the constraints of courtly attire, often eschewing elaborate corsetry in favor of more functional garments. Prolonged corset wear also affected childbearing. Deformed rib cages and compressed organs complicated pregnancies and childbirth, adding to the already significant risks women faced during this period. The practice of constricting the body often began in childhood. Young girls were fitted with corsets to mold their figures from an early age, ensuring they would conform to the desired aesthetic as they matured. Archaeological findings from this era have revealed the lasting impact of corsetry on the skeletal structure. Deformed rib cages and spinal curvatures serve as silent testimonies to the sacrifices made in the name of beauty. Towards the end of the Renaissance, whispers of change began to circulate. Some designers and noblewomen started to experiment with less restrictive garments, prioritizing comfort and health alongside aesthetic appeal. The reign of the corset, while enduring, was not without its critics or its gradual evolution. The pursuit of beauty continued, but the seeds of change had been sown, hinting at a future where health and comfort might one day rival the dictates of fashion. The Renaissance ideal extended beyond mere complexion. The shape of the face itself was subject to fashion's dictates. A high forehead, symbolizing intellect and nobility, became the ultimate mark of beauty, leading women to drastic measures. Plucking, though tedious and painful, was a common method. Each hair meticulously removed, a slow and agonizing march towards the desired aesthetic. The discomfort was considered a small price for societal approval. For those seeking a quicker solution, depilatory creams offered a tempting alternative. These concoctions, often prepared by apothecaries with dubious expertise, contained caustic ingredients that promised swift hair removal, but at a considerable risk. The recipes for these creams varied, but many incorporated quicklime, arsenic, or other harsh chemicals. These substances, while effective at dissolving hair, also caused severe skin irritation, burns, and even poisoning. Despite the known dangers, the allure of a fashionable forehead often outweighed the fear of potential harm. Women endured the burning sensations and subsequent skin damage, driven by the relentless pursuit of beauty. Shaving was another option, albeit one that carried its own consequences. The stubble that inevitably grew back was often coarser and darker, requiring more frequent and aggressive removal. Repeated hair removal, regardless of the method, often damaged the hair follicles, leading to thinning hair and receding hairlines, an ironic consequence of the quest for a higher forehead. Many women, in their later years, bore the visible scars of their youthful beauty regimens. Receding hairlines and patchy hair growth served as a stark reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of fashion. Katerina, ever practical, viewed these beauty rituals with a detached amusement. While she understood the importance of appearance, she prioritized strength and capability over fleeting trends. Clever hairstyles and elaborate headdresses became essential tools for concealing the damage caused by excessive hair removal. Wigs and false pieces were also employed to create the illusion of a full and perfectly shaped hairline. The wig-making industry flourished, catering to the demand for fashionable hair and offering a solution for those whose natural hairlines had suffered from the relentless pursuit of beauty. Yet, even amidst the extremes of Renaissance beauty practices, some maintained a sense of perspective. Lucrezia, while aware of the importance of appearance, recognized the fleeting nature of beauty and the enduring value of inner strength and character. Contrary to popular myth, Renaissance Italy did not shun bathing. The wealthy, like Isabella de' Medici, indulged in elaborate cleansing rituals, though their understanding of hygiene differed from modern practices. Soap, a luxury commodity, was crafted from olive oil and lye. Its production was a skilled trade, and its use a mark of refinement. Rosewater and other floral waters were favored for their fragrance and perceived cleansing properties, adding a layer of scent to the skin, masking odors and believed to keep the plague at bay. Public bathhouses, remnants of Roman times, continued to operate, though they were viewed with increasing suspicion due to concerns about disease and morality. For those who could not afford frequent baths, layering perfumed oils and strong herbal scents became essential to maintain at least a semblance of hygiene and status. Perfumes composed of musk, ambergris, and various floral essences were not merely cosmetic. They were considered vital for warding off disease. Oral hygiene was rudimentary, involving the use of cloths and abrasive powders to clean teeth, often damaging the enamel in the long run. Physicians recognized the potential harm of excessive bathing, advising moderation to avoid drying out the skin, stripping it of its natural oils. For the elite, bathing was a social event, a chance to display wealth and status. Handmaidens assisted with every aspect of the ritual, from preparing the bath to applying fragrant oils. Barbers played a crucial role in personal hygiene, offering shaving, teeth cleaning, and even basic medical procedures. Clean linen undergarments were considered essential for absorbing sweat and keeping the outer garments clean, marking an important step in maintaining personal cleanliness. Personal hygiene in Renaissance Italy was a complex mix of ritual, superstition, and limited understanding of germ theory. Despite the challenges, people sought to maintain cleanliness and mask unpleasant odors through various means, dictated by their social status and access to resources. The Renaissance silhouette was a carefully constructed artifice. Fabric, the very foundation of fashion, played a pivotal role in achieving the desired effect. Weight was synonymous with wealth. The heavier the fabric, the more affluent the wearer. Velvet, brocade, and damask, often layered one upon the other, created gowns of considerable weight. The heat of an Italian summer became an unbearable ordeal for those encased in such finery. Overheating was a constant companion to fashion. Even for powerful figures like Caterina Sforza, practicality had its limits. While she favored more functional designs, the weight and structure of the era's clothing still imposed constraints on movement and agility. The construction of these garments was an arduous task, requiring skilled seamstresses who spent countless hours meticulously stitching layers of fabric, often embellishing them with intricate embroidery, precious stones, and metal threads. Beneath the opulent fabrics lay the rigid structure of the corset. Whalebone or metal stays were laced tightly to create the desired conical shape, compressing the ribcage and restricting breathing. Movement became a carefully choreographed performance. Bending, reaching, or even walking at a brisk pace were rendered difficult, if not impossible, by the constricting garments. Accessories, while adding to the visual splendor, also presented their own hazards. Brooches, pins, and other fasteners, often crafted from metal, could cause scratches, punctures, and even infections. Even the simplest activities, such as dancing, became a challenge. The weight of the gown, combined with the restricted breathing, could lead to exhaustion and even fainting spells. Skin irritations and allergic reactions were common, caused by the dyes and finishes used in the fabrics. The lack of breathability trapped sweat and oils, creating a breeding ground for bacteria. The weight of appearance extended beyond mere discomfort. The constant pressure on the body could lead to long-term health problems, affecting posture, digestion, and overall well-being. Despite the discomfort and potential dangers, the allure of fashion remained strong. The desire to display wealth and status outweighed the physical burden, perpetuating the cycle of restrictive and often harmful beauty practices. For women like Isabella de' Medici, the price of vanity was etched not only onto their skin, but into the very fabric of their lives. The weight of appearance, both literal and metaphorical, shaped their existence in Renaissance Italy. The remedies offered by Renaissance physicians for ailments stemming from beauty practices were often as perilous as the practices themselves. Diagnosis was a crude art, relying more on observation and conjecture than on any true understanding of the body's complexities. Bloodletting, an ancient practice, remained a favored remedy for a multitude of ills, from headaches caused by tight hairstyles to skin eruptions resulting from lead-based cosmetics. The theory was simple: purge the body of bad humors. Potions, often containing a bewildering array of herbs and minerals, were prescribed to cleanse the blood and restore balance. Many, however, contained heavy metals like mercury or arsenic, compounding the damage already inflicted by cosmetics. Respiratory ailments, exacerbated by the inhalation of powdered cosmetics and the constriction of corsets, were common. Cough syrups, often laced with opium, offered temporary relief but did nothing to address the underlying cause. The desperation for flawless skin fueled a thriving market for quack remedies. Traveling charlatans peddled potions and creams promising miraculous results, preying on the anxieties of those disfigured by the very beauty practices they sought to maintain. Physicians often struggled to convince their patients to abandon the very practices that were harming them. The pursuit of beauty and status frequently trumped concerns about health and longevity. The understanding of women's health remained limited. Reproductive problems, often exacerbated by tight corsetry and poor nutrition, were attributed to a variety of causes, ranging from wandering wombs to imbalances in the humors. Herbal baths and poultices were prescribed to soothe irritated skin and ease muscle tension. While these remedies offered some temporary comfort, they did little to address the underlying toxicity caused by lead and mercury. The pursuit of beauty, in its most extreme forms, often led to premature death. The connection between cosmetics and illness remained poorly understood, and many women continued to use dangerous substances despite the risks. Some physicians, witnessing the devastating consequences of beauty practices, began to question the prevailing attitudes towards appearance. However, their voices were often drowned out by the clamor of fashion and the demands of courtly life. The allure of beauty remained strong, even in the face of mounting evidence of its dangers. The social pressures to conform to the prevailing ideal were often too great to resist. The Renaissance offered few effective remedies for the health problems caused by beauty practices. The cycle of vanity, illness, and regret continued, fueled by societal pressures and a desperate desire for acceptance and admiration. Within the gilded cages of Renaissance palaces, the pursuit of beauty was an elaborate ritual, a performance orchestrated with the finest ingredients and the most skilled hands. For women like Isabella de' Medici, maintaining a flawless appearance was not merely a personal vanity, but a crucial aspect of their social and political standing. In stark contrast, the beauty practices of the lower classes were dictated by necessity and limited resources. Peasant women, burdened by daily toil, had little time or means for elaborate preparations. Their beauty regimen consisted primarily of what nature provided: water, sunlight, and the occasional homemade remedy. For women of noble birth, the quest for eternal youth and beauty often involved the expertise of physicians and apothecaries. Lucrezia Borgia, famed for her radiant complexion, likely consulted with medical professionals who concocted special potions and creams to enhance her appearance. The lower classes relied on natural remedies and simple techniques to care for their skin. Washerwomen, exposed to harsh elements, might use simple oils or fats to soothe their chapped skin, a far cry from the elaborate creams and lotions used by the aristocracy. Wealthy women like Isabella de' Medici had access to expansive gardens, which provided ingredients for homemade cosmetics and remedies. Herbalists and apothecaries would create bespoke preparations using the finest flowers, herbs, and spices. For the common folk, marketplaces offered a more accessible, albeit less refined, source of beauty products. Street vendors sold herbs, roots, and spices that were believed to possess medicinal and cosmetic properties. Social status heavily influenced the pressure to conform to beauty standards. Women like Katerina Sforza, who held positions of power, were expected to maintain a dignified appearance, but their beauty practices were often secondary to their political and military duties. Despite limited resources, the desire for beauty permeated all levels of society. Young women of the lower classes shared beauty tips and homemade remedies, passing down knowledge from one generation to the next. The pressure to maintain a youthful appearance was especially intense for women at court, like Lucrezia Borgia. Their beauty was often seen as a reflection of their family's power and influence. For working-class women, beauty was less about elaborate cosmetics and more about practicality and resilience. Their beauty was often found in their strength, their spirit, and their ability to persevere in the face of hardship. Portraits served as a powerful tool for immortalizing beauty. Wealthy women like Isabella de' Medici commissioned artists to capture their likeness, ensuring that their beauty would be remembered for generations to come. Ultimately, beauty in Renaissance Italy, as in any era, was a complex and multifaceted concept. While the wealthy elite pursued an idealized image through elaborate practices, the lower classes found beauty in simplicity, resilience, and the strength of the human spirit. Age brought with it a different kind of beauty, one marked by wisdom and experience, a beauty that transcended social class and fleeting trends. While often overshadowed by the elaborate beauty rituals of women, men in Renaissance Italy were not immune to the pressures of appearance. A man's looks, particularly his complexion, physique, and grooming, were vital signs of his status and influence. The barber shop was not merely a place for a shave and a haircut. It was a social hub, a place where men could discuss politics, conduct business, and, of course, maintain their appearance. Beards, in particular, were carefully cultivated and styled, reflecting the wearer's personality and social standing. Just like women, men sought remedies for skin imperfections. Apothecaries offered a range of solutions, some more effective and less dangerous than others, to combat blemishes and achieve the coveted fair complexion. The pursuit of clear skin knew no gender. A pale complexion was equally desirable for men, signifying wealth and leisure. Those who toiled outdoors were tanned by the sun, a clear sign of lower status. Therefore, men, much like women, employed powders to lighten their skin and project an image of affluence. Physical fitness was also valued, particularly for noblemen and soldiers. Strength and agility were not only practical but also considered aesthetically pleasing. Fencing, riding, and other martial arts were practiced to cultivate a strong and graceful physique. Hair loss was a source of concern for many men. Wigs and hairpieces became increasingly popular, allowing men to maintain a youthful appearance and conceal the signs of aging. The art of wig-making flourished, catering to the vanity of men seeking to preserve their image. While less common than among women, some men also used cosmetics to enhance their features. Rouge, for example, was occasionally applied to the cheeks to give a healthy glow, and mustaches were carefully waxed and styled to project an image of sophistication. Perfumes were essential for both men and women. A pleasant scent was considered a sign of refinement and cleanliness, masking unpleasant body odors and adding an air of sophistication. Scented gloves, handkerchiefs, and pomanders were popular accessories. The pressures to conform to beauty standards could be taxing. Maintaining a perfectly styled beard, a fair complexion, and a fit physique required constant effort and attention, consuming time and resources. The pursuit of male beauty, while perhaps less perilous than that of women, was still a demanding endeavor. For some men, particularly those in positions of power, qualities such as strength, courage, and intelligence were valued more than mere physical attractiveness. However, even rulers were not entirely immune to the pressures of maintaining a respectable appearance, particularly when dealing with foreign dignitaries and courtiers. As with women, the use of dangerous cosmetics could have serious consequences for men. Lead poisoning, mercury poisoning, and other ailments were not uncommon among those who relentlessly pursued a flawless complexion. The price of vanity could be steep, regardless of gender. As the Renaissance drew to a close, a growing emphasis on reason and scientific inquiry began to challenge the more extreme and dangerous beauty practices. A new awareness of the importance of health and hygiene gradually emerged, paving the way for a more balanced and rational approach to appearance for both men and women. As the Renaissance waned, a subtle shift began in the understanding of the natural world. The blind acceptance of traditional remedies started to give way to nascent scientific inquiry. Scholars, driven by observation and reason, began questioning the long-held beliefs about the body and the effects of various substances upon it. The writings of Galen and Avicenna, though still influential, were no longer accepted without scrutiny. Despite the stirrings of scientific thought, the allure of beauty remained powerful. Women, still bound by societal expectations, continued to seek the flawless complexion and ethereal appearance demanded by courtly life. Physicians, increasingly aware of the dangers lurking within cosmetics, began to connect ailments to the beauty practices that caused them. Lead poisoning, mercury toxicity, and other cosmetic-related illnesses became more frequently diagnosed. Conversations shifted, albeit gradually. Whispers of caution began to circulate among the elite as awareness grew of the detrimental effects of certain beauty enhancers. The printing press played a crucial role in disseminating information. Pamphlets and books began to appear, warning of the dangers of specific ingredients and advocating for a more natural approach to beauty. Even figures like Isabella de Medici, known for her commitment to beauty, might have paused to consider the potential risks, perhaps adjusting her routines ever so slightly in response to the changing discourse. The restrictive corset, a symbol of Renaissance elegance, also faced scrutiny. Some physicians argued against its constricting effects, linking it to various health problems. Lucrezia Borgia, whose own beauty was legendary, might have considered the evolving wisdom, perhaps subtly influencing the beauty practices of those around her. Caterina Sforza, a woman of action and practicality, likely viewed these changing attitudes with a pragmatic eye, perhaps favoring health and vitality over fleeting beauty trends. The subtle shift in perspective trickled down, influencing attitudes towards children's appearance. A growing emphasis was placed on natural beauty and health, allowing children to embrace their youthfulness without the artificial enhancements of previous generations. The legacy of Renaissance beauty endures, a cautionary tale of the dangers of unchecked vanity and the relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal. The beauty standards of today, though evolved, still echo the societal pressures and artistic aspirations of that transformative era, reminding us to cherish health and well-being above fleeting trends.